Okay, what's up guys? Fan here with my friend Zah, and this is actually a follow-up vlog of vlog number 65, Zah's new motorcycle regarding his
Honda Tourism CB190X.
Okay, so this vlog has actually been requested by so many of you guys in the comment section for a follow-up lah basically. How long have you been riding the 190X?
That bike was registered in August. I took over as a second owner on February the 14th. This year, 2009, that will make it about 10 months.
We just give a bit of background on the model, the Honda CB190X. This 190X is actually an adventure motorcycle made in China.
It shares the same engine as the CB190R and the CBF190X Fight Hawk.
Yeah, it's been marketed as the predecessor to my model lah, actually in Singapore, but in China it's very different. So it's its own model in China actually. So you've been using the bike for 10 months already. Sri
Kandi Cintaku.
Kau abadi, Sri Kandi Cintaku.
So I call it Sri.
Sri, yeah. So how is it already so far?
So far, I have no problem with the bike because within that 10 months, I already chalked up 32,000 kilometers on my mileage. We have been riding, as you can see in our vlogs, to Thailand, to Laos. We have gone through crazy stuff. We rode hard. Every day we are riding 400 kilometers per day, in hot weather. During that trip, it has proved itself to be worthy of its name. A mini adventure bike. Although what I wish that the manufacturers, the makers could actually bring it up to 200cc.
Yeah,
why stop at 184cc when you can just go it up to 200cc? It makes a whole lot of difference, when you climb up the mountain.
I see. Interesting to note, this bike is not actually sold in Malaysia or Thailand when we were there. It's only sold in Singapore so far.
Yes. In fact, some of the riders in Malaysia would be asking how many cc is this? When I say it's 190cc, they are surprised because the bike is big. It looks like a 400cc bike. Some of them actually commented how they wish that this model is in Malaysia, because definitely there will be a lot of fans.
Has the bike given you any major issues, major problems? I know that actually your bike, you forget to close your USB cable, the USB port. That's why the taillight blew.
But in fact, according to my mechanic, for this particular model, the CB190R and the CB190X, the taillight, we share the same taillight. It has a lot of problems. This model blew, Engine wise, I don't have any problem. Throughout my whole time I've been riding until 32,000 kilometers, I don't have any major issue with my bike engine. However, I do read some reviews by owners of the CB190R, CB190X, saying that they have engine issues with the tensioner, with the camshaft or something, which baffles me because I do not know how they ride. To the point that some of them, 2 months of riding it, they need to overhaul.
I know that Zah is a very gentle rider.
I'm a gentle rider.
He's a very gentle rider. He doesn't really speed. He doesn't really whack the bike that much.
For me, 100 already, I scared.
He rides it like his old Vespa last time. Seriously. When his bike actually has the potential to go much more further than that. Maybe it's because he doesn't rev the bike that much. That's why I think he doesn't really encounter this sort of problems with his bike. Then maintenance wise, how is it?
Maintenance wise, engine oil, I do a regular monthly oil change. I don't wait until the mileage 3,000, 5,000. Although some brands engine oil like liquid moly, I was told that it can go up to 7,000 kilometers, but I don't do that. I've once read in a local motorcycle magazine, the mechanic was talking about engine oil, and he mentioned that it's better to go for a regular oil change with low grade engine oil rather than go for high grade but infrequent engine oil change. And then there was one time I was riding, I heard cleaning sound on my engine, and I was so scared because it reminds me of that time I was riding a Vespa and I heard the same clanging sound inside my engine. Happened, a piece of steel, a piece of metal was inside the chamber, in the piston chamber. So it was cling, very loud, and that piece of metal jam inside the piston, you know.
That was your old Vespa lah.
That was in my old Vespa. But however, I did manage to take out on my own. I take out the engine, I removed that piece of metal that was inside the chamber. So I thought that same thing happened, you know. Then I realized it wasn't my piston, but it was my it was the key that was making the rattling sound. I was like so scared because I talked to a few owners, then they said that they experienced some funny sound from the engine that causes to send for servicing.
How about accessories? Does this model come with a lot of accessories, you know, to modify, to make it look nicer, or you know, like more adventurous?
Accessories wise, I think most of the accessories is OEM, you know, original equipment manufacturers. So basically, there's not much accessories to go around because the model is only limited in Singapore. This model is not available in Malaysia or in Thailand or Indonesia by itself. So the ownership of this bike is not much. You don't get a lot of accessories unless you go buy online lah. You go to Taobao or EasyBuy.com.
Yeah, because it's a China bike, right? Any part you want, you can actually get it from Taobao, which is cheap lah.
In terms of aftermarket accessories, right? Like how the Aerox is. Aerox right now has a lot of aftermarket accessories.
Yes, because the bike is available in Malaysia also.
Malaysia and Thailand. So because of that, you can get a lot of aftermarket accessories. But because our bike is not available in these countries, there's not much accessory to go around. So basically, just if I want to go for my next upgrade for our next trip to Cambodia, probably I will just put in fog lights and bracket.
But that crash bar, that you know, the old owner Kenny, that actually fitted the crash bar, right, is also from the OEM, I think, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm so grateful for Kenny. Thank you, Kenny, for putting that crash bar, because that actually saved my bike.
Yeah, correct.
I fell 4 times, you know, during my trip in Thailand.
What about spare parts? Is it an issue for the Honda Tourism?
I think spare parts wise, if you are doing in Singapore, it's not a problem because you have an authorized distributor here. But in Malaysia or in Thailand, there's not much, because that bike is not available in Thailand. So maybe most of the mechanic will not be able to have spare parts for certain item inside the engine, like gasket. You won't be able to find the gasket of that engine model in Malaysia or Thailand. In terms of design wise, right, because it's air cooled, its engine is almost similar to most of the air cooled engines out there, like the RXZ and the your bike CB150,
which is also a China bike.
And I think his bike engine is more reliable. So far 5 years, have you been riding? Have you got any major issue with your engine?
No major issues. Other than the one at Mesot whereby my clutch
gave way. Yes.
And then that okay lah. My bike no issues so far.
So far from the day you purchased, day one until you went for that overhaul, nothing, right?
Nothing.
I think you see, for 5 years you won't have any issues. So hopefully my bike also will not have any issues lah.
I think for air-cooled bikes, right, there isn't a lot of moving parts, I think. That's why it's much more reliable, I feel.
Yeah, I think so.
Is the Honda Tourism suitable for beginner riders, you think?
For beginner riders, if you have a large stature, it will be suitable because this bike is big. But if you are a small person and this bike is too big for you, the reason why the old owner Kenny sold off his bike is because his wife, he said, it's too big because she's small. Even he has already adjusted the frame to be lowered, still too tall for her.
The off-road no issue.
Off-road no issue. Talking about off-road, I think if you want to bring this to off-road, I think if you have the money, you have the capability, just change the suspension to more heavy duty for off-roading, the front and back suspension. Another thing, tires. Change stock tires. Because if you are going to ride in Singapore, it's okay. Stock tires has grip, but if we are riding, because we are riding in Laos and Thailand, the roads are not as good as those in Singapore. So that tires can be a disadvantage. I recommend changing the tires, stock tires, to a better quality tires.
Grippy one
for touring. If you are going for long distance riding.
Okay, I think this is probably the most important question. What about fuel economy?
Fuel economy, I can say fuel economy is very good. Manufacturer specification is 14 liters. 14 liters fuel tank and a fuel economy of 40 kilometers per liter. But I've ever done 550 kilometers on a full tank to the brim, and yet I still have a lot of fuel left to go for another like 20-30 kilometers. But I don't want to push to that extent.
Yeah lah, because later you have to push the bike.
But I'm going to do a special video on fuel economy. I plan to ride from JB all the way to wherever this bike will stop on a fuel tank. I'm going to ride until empty. Then we can actually see in reality how many kilometers it can travel full tank.
Okay. Don't forget to bring the tank of fuel lah.
Yes, of course, definitely I will bring an extra fuel, extra can of fuel lah. But that's going to be somewhere next year.
And in your personal opinion, is the Honda Tourism CB190X suitable for touring?
In my honest opinion, it is suitable for touring. However, I wish that the manufacturer would actually fit it with a 6-gear transmission instead, because 5 gears, you until a certain speed it tends to be shaky, there's a lot of vibration. I think 110, 120 you can already feel the bike vibrate. 100 still okay. I mean, it's a class 2B engine with a single cylinder. What do you expect? You cannot rev it like a Super 4 with a 4 cylinders, right? Some people complain about that, about the speed. Come on, bro. It's a single cylinder
The pickup
engine.
is very slow, is it?
Yeah, the pickup, I wouldn't say the pickup is very good. I mean, the Aprilia RS125 is much more
Because
better.
it's a sports bike. This is an adventure bike.
Yes. So pickup wise, I wouldn't say that's good pickup lah, but at least it can speed off from the red light. You can overtake a few cars, and I really hope that the manufacturers in China, this Honda Tourism, actually prove this bike to be reliable in long distance. And I really do hope that they actually like go to the Gobi Desert or riding.
They basically test this bike out in China.
Because I've seen a few bike groups in China riding the CB190X, the Honda Tourism, going like touring all around China. So to me, I think it should not be much of a problem.
I think that is why the bike is built in that particular specification, because in China it's a huge country, and there's so all kinds of terrain. So they definitely built this bike with the touring in mind.
Yeah, I think so.
Maybe for those first timers who just passed their license and are considering between these two models, can weigh in their needs lah. Like if you want to go touring, the CB190X is the most suitable one lah. If you like that racer bike look, you definitely can go for the CB190X.
In terms of engine wise, right, I think this bike has proven its reliability. Because why? I stay in JB. I travel every day through and fro Singapore, JB. Every day I go through the jam. If the bike is not reliable enough, the engine is not reliable enough, definitely I need to change the clutch plate every now and then, because I'm riding through the traffic jam almost every day. And my journey JB Singapore to my workplace and back, I can easily chalk up about 150 kilometers per day.
Wow.
I mean, don't talk about dispatch riders lah. Dispatch riders, they can actually chalk up like 200, 300 kilometers per day. Plus
Because
jam.
the bike is idling.
Yeah, bike is idling, and then 70% of the time I'm using the clutch, stop go traffic, and then there's no air circulation for cooling.
Some of the pointers to consider whether to get the Honda Tourism as the choice of bike lah.
Talking about CBF 190, I mean, please guys,
For CB190,
the Fight Hawk.
that one, it looks nice, right? It looks damn nice, but
Yeah, it looks nice. It looks like the CB400X. I mean, I was interested to buy the CBF 190X Fight Hawk initially, because when it first came out in 2017, then the CB190X come out, and sometimes it really irks me, when the Fight Hawk as the CB190X. It's the CBF 190X, CBF.
There's a huge
190X.
difference there lah.
It's an insult to my bike, you know.
Because this is not only us. We've been hearing around that the Fight Hawk has a lot of issues.
I also understand that the CBF 190X Fight Hawk has a lot of issues with the engine and the electronics. I do not understand why.
Yeah, correct. I also don't understand why. Not only me lah, even I've been hearing around lah. The bike got a lot of issues. Even my mechanic also says that bike got a lot of issues.
Hopefully, this bike in time to come, it will prove itself to be more reliable because it just came out in 2017, so it hasn't passed that 5-year mark yet.
I see. Yeah lah, maybe during the production line itself, Honda China will probably make improvements lah, I think.
I know some of you are going to use this video to make a decision whether you want to buy a CB190X or not. So it's up to you. I'm not a professional, by the way, but as a user, this is my honest opinion.
Yes. Maybe before buying the bike itself, you can just maybe test it before considering it lah. You know, nothing wrong with asking the bike shop to actually test.
I know some of my viewers here has said they were searching for CB190X and the vlog number 65 came out.
Yeah. It's not really a bike review or recommendation vlog or something. It's just a vlog that shows the journey of him getting his
new bike.
Honda Tourism. Yeah, correct. Thanks for the views lah, guys.
Thanks for the views, thanks for the comments, and really hope you will tune in to us and our trip together in the future.
Yes. Oh yeah, speaking of trips, you want to tell them?
We are planning a trip to Cambodia and hopefully Vietnam also in T21. I know many of the viewers would really want to join us in our trip. We are still considering whether we want to invite how many people we are going to invite to join us in our adventure. But definitely I would not want to have a big group like 10
maybe
people.
maximum 2 more people to join us lah. That's all.
Maximum 5 lah, maybe
5
lah. You, me and 3 more riders.
3 more guys. Yeah. So that is maybe something that
we will consider in the future.
Yeah.
Right? So we hope you will stay tuned to our videos in the future.
Yeah. Okay, we'll see you in the next one. Take care, yeah.